1988 Pontiac Trans Am GTA 5.0 liter tune port injection. Here we go again. This intake I haven't put back on. Alright, so we had a problem with the serpentine belt, and it was being threaded, it was being stripped and derailed. So I found out what the source of the problem was. Basically, the bolts were in backwards. Some of the other videos will show kind of what was done to solve this problem before, but that turned out to not be the issue. So we're going to go through a tour of what's been done so far in order to solve this problem. Reality is, this bracket was probably bent, the tensioner was weak, and the bolts were in backwards. So yes, these notches right here allow you to slide the bolt through sideways. However, that is not the way they're supposed to be done. So I did some research online, figured out how to solve these problems, and decided to order some parts and make the repairs. Got this part off eBay, this part at the Shucks O'Reilly, and the serpentine belt. I'll give you the number for the one that I chose to use, different size, because the idler pulley solution that I had from Summit Racing didn't work. Gonna have to get creative and do a little fabrication on that one to actually put a pulley in there, so hopefully it will be unnecessary after these repairs. The original bracket, the bolt holes were stripped, so I couldn't put the bolts in the way they were designed to go factory. So got another bracket off eBay that was in good shape, and replaced the bracket, put the bolts in properly, so everything should be substantial. But believe it or not, the air conditioning unit, the tighter clearances from my previous videos, were actually not the problem. As you can see, there's no more head in the way as there used to be. The bolt on the other side down here, same thing, supposed to come through that direction, so the heads won't be near the belt at all. The real problem was the power steering pump pulley was derailing before the crankshaft. So it would come right around this pulley, and this pulley was too far out. That thing's gonna be trouble focusing, isn't it? So that pulley was too far off the crankshaft. The belts were not really centered. So there is a tool you can use that will push this pulley on or pull it off. Get the tool, don't waste time. These things can be annoying if you don't have the proper tools. The fan is still on the ground because that needed to be removed to get my tools in there to adjust the pulley where I wanted it to be. That'll go back on later. The reality is it needed a new power steering pump. So while I was there, and because of how I chose to remove the power steering pump, I replaced the power steering hose, the high pressure side, and refilled the reservoir. So we're about ready to test this guy. But the other concern was this bracket. Again, not properly done. There's actually struts I found out are missing from this. There's supposed to be a strut in the back of this bracket connecting it to the intake manifold. Not there. There's also supposed to be one on the other side, which is not there. The wiring on this car was just cut into oblivion. I have no idea who was fixing this before, but I have decided to repair everything properly. So the old battery tray was rusted all the way through. Again, another part I was able to order off eBay, and I welded in the new battery tray, including the piece of the core support that comes through so that it's carrying, so that everything is carried through. And then I used a JB weld around the outside to kind of clean up my seams, primed and painted it, and now we're ready to install the battery and the new hold down, and then we'll start working on wiring. So it's going to be a while for a test run, but that is the solution for this belt being stripped. Got a new bracket, new tensioner, this belt, and replace the power steering pump. So everything should be golden now. We still have to do a test run, like I said, but I want to install the battery and fix the wiring before I start running current through it. There are a ton of other things that need to be done in this car, but that'll be what I need to do to get it started. The wire nuts here are from the old smog pump system. Leave them connected, the check engine light won't come on the dashboard. And then the pump itself was removed. All the lines and everything was removed a while ago. That was before I got this car. We were experimenting with it. Originally the plan was to do a whole lot to this car. And then I was running out of ways to find... I was running out of cheap ways to fix this problem. So replacing all the bracketry and replacing all the pieces and doing it right. And decided the best thing to do is just get another one. So, cool thing is, we have another 88 Trans Am GTA. This one, be nice if I could find the hood latch. Really helps with the education of what it's supposed to look like. This is an 85,000 mile original car, so I know when pieces are missing. So we can see a lot of vacuum lines that are factory, all this kind of stuff. Coolant reservoir in the other car actually came off a Honda. So again, why these parts aren't just ordered off eBay. Frank's Pontiac parts, Summit Racing, something like that. Just, you know, at the very least put in something professional. So now I have a model, which makes it a whole lot easier to see how this thing was supposed to be wired factory. The ground wire is supposed to be connected to the block, kind of behind the power steering pump bracket. So now I can replace the ground wire from that battery. Helps me get the measurements I need, everything. So got a really good model to look at now, because that's a 85,000 mile car. So the good news is that everything is pretty much where it's supposed to be, and I can find little random pieces that are missing. So everything works on this car, and now it's time to make this one work the same way. Headlight needed to be removed to access both sides of that metalwork, but we officially no longer have a big hole where the battery was literally falling through. Now I'm going to replace like this kind of, I don't even know what that should be called. I have no idea why that's there. Disgusting wiring, just vacuum lines, random wires down the left front wheel well. Don't even know what that's about. Another relay off the wall in the back. Dipsticks all the way the hell over there. I have no idea what that's about. That should be way up here in the front. You actually access it. Anyway, lots of things that need to go back together. Need to go back together properly. So then we're gonna have to fix our headlamp motors. Somebody has put the wrong ones in for this car. So we're gonna have to mess with the wiring harness, make sure everything's working. But now that we have a safe way to store the battery, and we have the serpentine belt not coming off the rails, we'll actually be able to start the process of putting this whole thing back together. Either way, that's where the GTA stands so far.